Hi everybody, Annie here. Welcome back to Annie's Penwell. Today I want to talk about procurement policy and why it fails on a random Tuesday afternoon unless you add one missing piece. Procurement governance. Why Tuesday? Because it's random. It could happen anytime. You know how it goes? A renewal auto-renews because nobody owned it. Someone signs a contract they're not supposed to sign because it was urgent. A team buys the same thing from 3 vendors at 3 prices. And then, when something goes wrong, everyone asks the same question. Wait, who approved this? That question, that's the entire video. Because procurement policy is not a PDF, it's a decision system. And the missing piece, the piece that makes policy actually real, is procurement governance. So if you just joined a company with no policy, or you inherited a 40-page policy nobody follows and you're responsible for fixing it, this video is for you. By the end, you'll have a simple structure you can implement fast. The 3 things every purchasing policy needs, and the governance layer that makes it actually work in real life. Okay, before we build anything, let's clarify 2 terms. People mix up all the time. Procurement governance is who decides and how those decisions actually stick. Like who has decision rights, who's accountable, and how do purchasing decisions get made consistently across the business? Procurement policy is the rulebook. Who can buy what, approval thresholds, competition rules, who can sign, and what documentation you need. Here's the thing. A policy without governance is just a document sitting in a folder somewhere. Governance is what makes the policy actually work under pressure. And pressure, that's where Tuesday lives. So here's the thread, 5 quick lines. Situation. Buying decisions happen everywhere, but decision rights are unclear. Desire. We want fast purchasing that protects margin, reduces risk, and supports sustainability. Conflict. Stakeholders want different things, and incentives don't align. Change. Governance. Plus, a lean policy turns procurement into an operating system. Result, Tuesday stops being chaos, and buying becomes repeatable, enforceable, and commercially smart. All right, let's start with the situation. Here's the thing. Procurement isn't one team making decisions in a vacuum. It's a coalition of interest groups. Finance wants cost control. Legal wants enforceable contracts. Security wants low risk. Operations want speed. Teams want autonomy. Suppliers want simplicity and revenue. Customers want reliability and ethics. And this is where companies leak money quietly. Not because people are careless, but because everyone is optimizing for different goals. So let's make it real. 3 worlds, same Tuesday, big company, Tuesday. A plant runs out of a critical consumable, PPE, packaging, spare parts. Someone calls the nearest supplier just to keep production moving. Later you find out the price is 3 times the contracted rate, it bypassed the approved supplier list, and the invoice includes rush delivery and handling fees. Nobody approved. Growing company Tuesday. A team hires a contractor or agency fast. We just need help for a month. No clear scope, no cap, no sign-off points. End of month, extra days billed, change requests treated as new work, and a messy argument about what included actually meant. Solo Tuesday. You hire a freelancer and say, make it look clean. No acceptance criteria, no revision limit. You get version 1, then version 2, then version 3, and you're still editing at midnight. Across all 3, the issue isn't intelligence, it's alignment. If decision rights aren't clear, Tuesday just keeps repeating. So, what's the real goal of a purchasing policy? It's not control for control's sake, it's not bureaucracy, it's definitely not policing. The goal is the same across big, growing, and solo: predictable costs, protected margin, lower risk, fewer surprises. Here's how I think about it. Profit is basically revenue minus costs minus surprises. Procurement reduces the costs and the surprises. And sustainability fits here too, because sustainable procurement isn't charity, it's long-term viability. Fewer supply shocks, better supplier behavior, lower reputational risk, better resilience. Sustainability also protects your ability to actually operate. Fewer reputational shocks, fewer supplier scandals, fewer "wait, why are we in the news" moments. So yes, we want procurement to create value, but here's the real question. Value for whom? That's where the stakeholder approach comes in. Balancing shareholder goals with employees, suppliers, customers, and communities. And that sounds nice in theory, but here's the hard part. When you try to balance everyone, you risk balancing nothing, which brings us to conflict. Here's the tension. You need commercial protection, margin, and risk without creating this slow, painful bureaucracy. And the reason this is hard, procurement is full of agency problems. Okay, plain language. An agency problem happens when the people making decisions are rewarded for something that isn't actually the organization's long-term best interest. And yes, incentives can help, but badly designed incentives just create expensive shortcuts and bad contracts. The classic structure is principal versus agent. The organization or leadership is the principal, the people making decisions are the agents. And when incentives are misaligned, Tuesday gets expensive. Big company agency problem. A manager is rewarded for uptime and speed. So they approve the emergency buy without checking terms, because downtime is punished but overspend isn't. Growing company agency problem. A lead is rewarded for hitting delivery dates. So they sign an agency extension fast, because slipping the deadline hurts way more than paying extra. Solo agency problem. You're rewarded emotionally for shipping today. So you accept vague work and just fix the gaps yourself later with your own time. Now here's the trap. Companies try to fix this with one of two extremes. No policy at all, which is chaos, or a massive policy, which gets ignored. Neither solves incentives. Neither clarifies decision rights. So the change isn't more rules. The change is governance plus a lean policy that actually matches reality. Here's the turning point. Procurement governance is the structure that specifies rights and responsibilities, participants, also known as stakeholders, and rules and procedures for decision-making. Think of governance as answering 4 questions. 1. Who are the stakeholders? Not just the business, like specifically who. Quick classification. Primary stakeholders are directly involved: suppliers, internal teams, employees. Secondary stakeholders are indirectly impacted: regulators, communities, industry bodies, customers. If you don't identify them, you'll build a policy that optimizes for one group and creates problems somewhere else. And governance isn't just identifying stakeholders, it's engaging them in a way that builds accountability. You explain decisions, answer concerns, and earn trust. 2. Who has decision rights? This is the core of governance. Who can request? Who can approve? Who can select a supplier? Who can sign? Who owns supplier performance? If your policy doesn't define this, people will fill the gaps under pressure, and Tuesday wins. 3. How do we align incentives and behavior? This is where agency theory becomes practical. In every procurement system, you're solving 2 problems at the same time: cooperation, getting people to want the same outcome, and coordination, making sure all the moving parts actually line up. 4 levers, from hard to soft: control mechanisms, approvals, authority limits, supervision, performance incentives, rewards tied to outcomes. Careful here, don't create perverse incentives. Shared values, cultural expectations about ethics, sustainability, and commercial discipline. Persuasion, leadership communication that drives adoption without constant enforcement. And you need coordination mechanisms so people can actually work together. Rules and directives, mutual adjustment, routines and processes, and output-based standards. 4. What costs are we trading off? There are always trade-offs. Standardization reduces the reinvent the wheel cost, finding vendors, negotiating from scratch, rebuilding documents, but it increases oversight costs if you overdo it. So your job isn't minimize approvals. Your job is balance. Enough governance to prevent dumb losses, not so much governance that you kill speed. Now, let's build the policy, the usable layer. Okay, if you're setting up or fixing a procurement policy, here are the 3 essentials, and then the governance wrapper that makes them actually real. Quick heads up, near the end, I'm going to give you 5 questions you can screenshot. They're the fastest way to sanity check any policy. Policy must have. Number 1, clear approval thresholds. Approval thresholds are cost control without turning every purchase into a CFO bottleneck. Use the Pareto idea. Let teams approve most low-risk spend fast. Escalate high-impact spend to the right level. Simple example structure: low value/low risk, team lead approval. Mid value, department head, high value or high risk. finance plus procurement plus legal. Anything with data / security / regulated exposure. Security review. The point isn't complexity, the point is matching review effort to actual spend and risk. Copy/paste rule. If it's low risk and under the threshold, approve fast. If it's above the threshold or high risk, route to the right reviewers. Policy must have number 2. Preferred vendor approach. If 5 vendors supply the same thing, you don't have procurement, you have randomness. Preferred vendors give you pricing consistency, negotiated terms, performance expectations, fewer supplier failures, faster buying, because it's already vetted. This is where growing companies win quickly. Consolidate SaaS, consolidate agencies, consolidate contractors. Copy/paste rule. If it's in category X, buy from the preferred list unless there's an approved exception. Policy must have number 3, documentation requirements. Documentation is how you defend decisions later. Quotes/bids, where needed contract templates, scope and acceptance criteria, justification for single source conflict of interest, declarations, sustainability/ethical sourcing requirements where relevant. Not everything needs 3 bids, but everything needs enough documentation that the decision is explainable later. Copy/paste rule. If it's single source, urgent, or high risk, document the why, not just the what. Now, here's what most policies miss. They list these 3 and still fail on Tuesday. Why? Because you need the governance layer. Okay, screenshot moment. These 5 questions are the difference between a policy that sits in a folder and a policy that actually works on Tuesday. Here's the transparency test. If you can't explain the decision in 2 minutes, you don't have governance, you have luck. A policy, people actually follow answers. Who can buy what and up to what amount? When do we need competition? And what counts as competition? Who is allowed to sign a contract? This one alone prevents disasters. What clauses are non-negotiable? Liability, IP, termination, data protection. How do suppliers get onboarded and managed? Risk checks, performance, exit. And here's the test. If the policy can't be followed in real life, it won't be followed. So your policy has to match how the business actually operates. Fast paths for low-risk buys, strong controls for high-risk buys, and a clear front door. So procurement is involved before the decision is locked. Okay, let's go back to Tuesday, but this time with governance and a usable policy. Big company Tuesday renewals don't slip through silently anymore. Contracts are findable and enforceable. Supplier performance is actually owned. Audits stop being fire drills, and margin leakage starts disappearing. Emergency buys still happen, but they route through the right path. Approved suppliers and pricing get used by default. Invoices match POs, and rush fees stop showing up as surprises. Growing company Tuesday. Spend scales with headcount and usage, not panic and lock-in. Leadership gets time back, and growth stops being expensive growth. Contractors and agencies have clear scope, sign-off points, and caps. Extensions don't happen by accident, and you stop learning about cost overruns from an invoice. Solo Tuesday. No more subscription traps, no more scope creep. Freelancer work has a 1-page scope and a definition of done. Revisions are bounded. You stop paying twice, cash and time. You stop paying with your evenings. The end state isn't more rules. It's less waste, less risk, fewer surprises, and faster buying because the path is clear. If you're building or fixing a purchasing policy, I really hope you found this video useful. Leave a comment below, I'd love to know what you think. And if you want my lightweight, editable procurement policy toolkit for small and growing organizations, including solo operators, it's in the link in bio. The toolkit is an instant download and includes procurement policy template, 1-page thresholds and approval, matrix 1-page customization guide, single/sole source, justification form, sole versus single source quick guide, 1-page definition sheet, license plus listing copy or comment freebie, and I'll share the link to a free procurement policy 1-pager you can adapt. If you like this video and want to support my work, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next drop. You can check out the next video right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!